Bet on your tiny, tiny castle. Bet on your tiny, tiny dream. Bet on your tiny, tiny businesses. Bet on you. Bet on you. Why you bet on strangers? Strangers pass on through. You should bet on neighbors, cause neighbors bet on you. Your tiny, tiny barbershop. Bet on you. Oh, your tiny, tiny beauty shop. Bet on you.
Hello, this is the live recording of episode 9 of I Like My Tea Sweet podcast, created by Aisha and I as part of the collective work of Tiny is Powerful. Today's episode will be uploaded to YouTube, SoundCloud, and episodes are accessible at tinyispowerful.com podcast.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Aisha, one of the collaborators of I Like My Tea Sweet, a podcast experiment focused on issues, topics, and memories related to Charleston and the greater area. Today is the last episode of a 5-episode series where we explore the 5 house: mental, emotional, physical, social, and spiritual. We want everyone to get the most out of this conversation, so we would like for everyone to list what comes to mind when you think of your social health. You can respond publicly in the chat or comments or privately in a personal journal. And as always, this is a conversation, so all are encouraged to engage and participate by asking and answering questions with us. Rainy and I are your hosts. Today's focus is on social health.
I guess we could kind of start off with for instance, what do you what exactly does help is social health, and what does it how does it impact mental and emotional states,
Well, okay, so for me, my social health is basically the energy that I give and receive, and I allow myself to receive. And if it's through friends, family, it's through that, or it might be through strangers, it just, for me, it's the exchange of energy that I give out, that I receive on a daily basis. Um, how does it connect to mental health? I think I'm learning that the energy that you have, sometimes when you let it build up too much, you start to get in, go through the motions of like sadness, loneliness. Even sometimes it can hit depression sometimes. And we all know how those emotions affect our mental health. So I think it ties in directly with your mental health.
I would agree. I kind of agree with I've searched online for what the definition is, and I agree with the definition that came up was um, your ways of communication and how you interact with other people. Um, because communication has just always been something that's been hard for me, whether it be on a professional level or personal level, or with just acquaintances. It's always been something that's been hard for me. So it's strange to see that it's a health, because I don't it's a health that I'm not healthy with, I suppose.
I feel the same way because I end up having to sometimes I feel weird when I do say it, but sometimes I don't know what to say to people. So I'll be like, how do you tell somebody congratulations for X, Y, and Z? And I try and search up ways to communicate. Because it's either that I search up ways or I just do a copy and paste. I'll give you what you give to me. Exactly.
I can understand that on a spiritual level, because at work, when I'm working, and one of my work partners will be like, "You did an amazing job. You did an awesome job," and I'll be like, "Everyone did fantastic." Or I'll be like, "You did awesome too," and it's just so awkward because um I feel like a part of social health is being able to give and take compliments, and it's just I just never was taught how to do that. And it sounds so silly to say I was never taught how to give compliments, but it's true.
It really is true because I have like not the same issue because I don't want to look at it as an issue, but that's my communication way. You know, if you give it to me, I'm gonna give you the same thing. So, and we also as humans, so I realize like we tend to like uplift others so much that we don't acknowledge what we do, like the good we do. We see the good in somebody else. We're like, you did amazing. You really pushed through. But when somebody tell us that, it's like, oh, I did nothing. You know, that was just the normal.
It's that imposter syndrome. I've started going to therapy, and I expressed that whenever somebody compliments me, it feels like hecka weird because I don't feel like I deserve it. And my therapist was like, imposter syndrome. Like, and I'm like, oh.
That's really cool that you can talk to your therapist about that. That's really cool. I'm trying to learn about imposter syndrome too, because in my mind, I just thought that was like the southern thing to do, you know, the nice thing to do. But we're learning different, so that's good. Um, how? Wait, no. Are you an introvert, an extrovert, or an ambivert? And what are your thoughts on this concept?
I'm an introvert all the way. I don't like people. That sounds so weird to say, but because I'm in like a people-oriented like job, but like I don't like people. I don't like humanity. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I would call myself typically in any situation, like a new situation or like a new surrounding, I'm an introvert until I learn about more people, you know? So I would call myself an introvert unless I'm around the right energy, like the right amount of people or the right person or people to actually let my personality go through. Because once you get to know me, I end up liking humans like you. Like if you're a good human, we're cool. But you won't automatically get that type of vibe from me. So I might be ambivert, but I prefer to call myself an introvert because I don't like. It's not that I don't like humans. It's just my tolerance of humans just like declines throughout the day. So if I do something with you, just appreciate the fact that like I've set this time for you and like I've held my tolerance just for you. Because when I'm ready to go home, I'm ready to go home.
I think what makes the concept of like introvert and extrovert and ambivert so interesting is because like it brings up the topic of social energy, like having enough social energy to deal with this certain situation and this certain person and that, you know, like we know about like having physical energy, but we don't talk about like having things like emotional energy, mental energy, and social energy. I know for me, like I only work for like 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours typically, now since everything has been happening, and I could still feel like a major decline in like my social energy. As soon as I get home, I just like don't want anyone to talk to me, you know.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm wondering, like, how do you, if you mind sharing, like, how do you recharge?
I tell everyone to leave me alone, and I only interact socially on like on the internet. When I'm on the internet, that doesn't take a lot of my social energy. For me, it's like text and words. It comes with its own difficulties, but it's not as hard as like being around other people, you know, where you can kind of like where you have to be more mindful of not only the words that you say, but also the tone you use, how you
Mm-hmm.
move, how your what your face does. Because I know for me, sometimes I just do random faces, and it's not to be mean. It's just I just do that, you know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how I recharge. Sometimes I recharge at home with like Cotton Ball in Brooklyn. I just want to be around them, and give them like all my love so they can give me some of their love because that's what they do. But also, I FaceTime my friends, like my really close friends and my best friends. And sometimes we'll just be on the phone and not say anything and just like acknowledge our presence and stuff like that. But side note, I feel like the complete opposite way when how you feel with when it comes to like texting versus in person, like how you have to keep in mind that your tone and things like that. I don't know if there's a word for like text deaf. Like for me, it takes me a long time to realize what somebody's saying over text. Like I don't know if it's a joke unless you put like emojis next to it or a GIF or like we're talking about something funny. It's hard for me to understand that. But in person, I can tell. I can tell if I'm funny. I can tell if you're ready to go home. Like I can feel that energy and I can see it. I can see it. That's it. If you don't tell me anything with emojis or like a exclamation point, I don't understand. I don't know how to comprehend.
I understand that. For me, I mean, it's kind of like a toss-up, because sometimes I can read how somebody says a sentence and just the way that they structured it, I know that how they were trying to be with that sentence. But like, I totally get you with the emoji. Like, I think with the introduction of emojis, we started to lean more on them than words sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, okay, this is a good question. As an introvert, how does this impact how you interact with the rest of society? What about as an extrovert, if it applies?
I don't make as many friends because I'm an introvert. Like, if I have a friendship and it's a maintaining friendship, it's because they continuously reached out to me and we just vibed.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I'm not like I don't call people. Like I don't have a phone, but like even when I did have a phone, calling people unless it was like necessary, like I had to call somebody to pick me up or um, call in the work to let them know something. I just didn't call people. Yeah. So it makes me less likely to communicate and less likely to be like, let's do this thing or let's do that thing. And it also contributes to me being a homebody.
Mm-hmm.
How about
So,
yourself?
I don't know if I'm an ambivert, like I said, because I feel like I'm more of an introvert until I'm right with until I'm around the right people. But for me, um, I tend to contact people more, and I think it might just have to be on like the perception that people have of me. Like I have apparently I'm like the granny or the mother of the group, so I do feel like I fit that role sometimes. So I check up on you. I want to know what you're doing. How are you doing? Do you want to talk about anything? So I typically contact people first, and I check up on people. And I do appreciate the friends and family that they check up on me a lot. Um, what else? How else does it impact? Um, hmm. I don't know how else it impacts. It, like I said, it impacts my like the perception that people have of me, or like the expectations I have of myself. As making sure everybody is good and like being that motherly role. What else? Oh, as an introvert, in my mind, I feel like I only make friends while I'm doing something productive. If that makes sense. Like I'll only like my most of my friendships come from school and work. Nothing else. Like no, I'm not at a park and I'm gonna say hi. No, I'm not doing that. If I see you at school, if I see you at work, so if we work together on a project, give you my number. Hey, how you doing? But that's it. That's it. I think that's it for me.
Personally, when I'm at places like a park or something and a stranger is like hi, saying hi or try to speak to me, I'm as polite as possible, but not friendly, you know? And I agree with the like only meeting people or friending people like when I'm doing something I consider productive. Like most of my friends also come from school, and I don't even know if I can like classify my coworkers as friends because I don't know them outside of work, you know? It's just like we work, we leave. We work, we leave. So I don't know them outside of work. I would definitely say the people inside connected to are my friends. Um, because while I see this work as like productive, I also see this work as more personal than school and work. Um, so that's why I'm comfortable with saying I'm friends with Pam, I'm friends with Victoria and Glenn and Kit and Theron and John Marie. Like I'm comfortable with saying I'm friends with them because of that, you know. But I couldn't say the same for like my Starbucks partners. Like I wouldn't say that I'm like I think he was, I don't know if he was joking or not, but I had a Starbucks partner who was like, we're best buddies. And I just could not reply. I was like, ha, 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 ha. You know, awkwardly like smiling. Because I just could not say the same to him, you know?
Mm-hmm. And like that really makes me wonder when you like how we connect with people is like how we make our friends and stuff. It's like, does it always have to be productive? But in my mind, if it's not productive, why am I doing it? And like then you connect with people for my shifts used to be like 8 hours. Well, really it was 9 hours, but it was like 8, 9 hours. You're with the same people every day, like the exact same people. Like we don't have a changing like a large number of people where we rotate everybody. You know, it's the same people. You see them every day. You talk to them, and for me personally, I kind of see myself connecting with, make sure I have a connection with everybody because of connected to. Because it's like, you don't know the conversations that you will have with that person. And for me, like, I've learned a lot from just sitting, not just sitting, but working and have conversations with the collective. And you learn more about yourself, you learn more about the person. And it's like, you just learn more about society. So when I did take the time to make connections with the people I work with, one of my friends is going to be a pharmacist. So I do ask her about like the medicine stuff because I don't know. And then the other, my other coworker who I consider a good friend, well, a new friend is like a sociologist, and she broke down that whole what a sociologist is and things like that. Well, her major is sociology, so it makes me realize the connections that you potentially have with people. So just try and reach out. That's what I'm learning. I
That
don't know
makes
if it
sense.
was
That
connected
makes
to the
sense.
conversation we had earlier,
Now I would say that
but
like makes sense, you know?
yeah. Ooh, I have another question. I'm sorry for asking all the questions. What type of friend would you consider yourself as?
Like the ghost. I'm the ghost. Like if we're talking about friend types, I'm the one who's like, if you don't like call me, I don't know. I don't know nothing. Man. Like, 'cause also, since I don't have a phone, and since I typically don't pick up a phone when I do have my phone, if you ain't emailing me or contacting me on Discord or like Instagram, it's probably not going to like I'm not going to receive the message. You know.
Um, I don't know. What type of friend am I? I am the background friend. Like I'm best friends with two people, and I consider best friends and sisters with 2 people, and then like the other 2 or 3 people that I do consider myself really close with. Yeah, I'm like in their lives kind of, but not all the time. I'm that background friend. I'm that friend like if you don't know anybody else, you know me, and we're gonna have a good conversation. We're gonna do something, you know, and yeah, that's it. I want to talk about like our social circles, and you know, sometimes you're not a part of somebody's life directly every day, but indirectly you're in that person's corner. You're cheering them on. You're rooting for them. You're supporting their business. You're sharing Facebook posts with them. You're interacting with them, but not just every day. Or if you do interact with them every day, it could be like a like of a comment or a love of a comment or share of the post that they have, you know? So how my question is, how do you define your social circles? And who is a part of your social circles?
That's kind of like really tricky for me, and here's why. I consider I keep my social circles very like tight knit and away from each other. So people at my job, I don't really talk to. I let them know that I'm a part of an artist group, but like I don't really talk in depthly about what I do with Tanya's Powerful. Like they get the summary, of course, but I don't, talk to them in depthly what I do, and then like I also don't talk with you guys like in depthly about like my other my coworkers, because those are 2 separate relationships. Like what I have with Tiny is Powerful is more personal than what I have with my coworkers at Starbucks. So I keep those separate for the most part, and then when it comes to friend groups, I barely have friends to begin with. Like I had like one main group of friends where we'd hang out a lot, but then college happened, as it often does. And as I said, I'm not one to reach out or to call, so it's been a bit rocky getting in contact with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
How's it like? How do you navigate that, especially with everything that's been like going on?
I've been the crazy thing is like how I was talking about the people in my corner and things like that. People in the corner, they are like my ride or dies. Whatever we're gonna go through, we're gonna go through it together. We might not just go through it exactly together, hand in hand, but you see me, I see you, we see each other. And I've always been like honest friend. That's like right now, I don't want to talk. I'm struggling. I'm not doing too well in my classes. Like maybe another day or something. Or when it comes to my best friends, they don't get that boundary because I know the energy that they always gonna have for me is always loving. And like even if we don't say something to each other, we don't have to look at it as productive or anything like that. We can just be quiet. Like I said earlier, we can be quiet and we'll be just fine. So, and then we also like all my friends, my best friends, we're in school. One's in high school, about to go to college, and then the other one's in college. So we all know the struggle that we're going through together. So we just like if we go through the struggle together, we gonna be okay. That's our mindset.
That's really good. Um, I
Oh,
can't say I do the same though.
and I also like to add to like a part of my social circle, I try to intertwine them, kind of, sort of. I try to connect other people with other people. Try to be a plug. But which I didn't expect was two of my coworkers at my other establishment that I work at. Um, they went to go visit my school, my college, North Carolina A&C. So they told me like it was beautiful. I didn't even get to go to like see how it looked, but they told me it's beautiful. You really like it there. And then I think within 2 weeks of me moving in, I not only did I get a text from them about like just motivating me with school and things like that, but like if you need anything, let me know. I get FaceTimes weekly with my other coworker who like we talk about everything when it comes. We really talk about everything, especially with like going through school and stuff. So yeah, I forgot to mention that.
I wish I had your level of like social and communication skills, because that is just not me. Like I have one friend, like I consider her like my best friend, because we've been friends like the longest. Like I've known her since like beginning of middle school, and
Mm-hmm.
like she constantly like reaches out to me, and like currently this past year or so I've been trying to be better with replying to like her messages and stuff like that, because unlike you, when I go through like a rough time, I don't like tell people, oh yeah, I'm going through a rough time. I'm just I just ghost. Like I'm just not there. Like
Mm-hmm.
communication wise. So I've been trying to work on that by like replying to messages in a timely manner and or as much as I can. Um, but hopefully I'll get to where you're at one day where I can like call people at least once or twice a week and like just be socially there, you know?
And you don't have to have my communication skills. It's just I think it could be a part of my personality, like the motherly nature. I don't know if I should say motherly nature, but like I'm naturally a person that wants to care for people, and I want to know that you're okay. So I think that's where it came from. And my mom's personality, if you ever meet her, basically I'm a copy and paste of her personality, just a little bit better. If she's listening, I'm sorry, mom. I just wanted to say that. But really, when we have that type of thing, you got to find your yin and your yang, yin and yang when it comes to communicating with people or like your friends, because even though I might seem like an extrovert with my communication sometimes, there's gonna be times where I'm quiet. Like next month, I'm going to be quiet, really quiet. It's going through personality change and everything. I know that, because it's gonna be one of the roughest months for me automatically. So my friends, they know, they understand, they know how to basically fill in the gaps of our relationship when need be, you know. And most of the times, I try to find people that can match my energy or to match, not my energy, the effort that I put in our relationship, because there's going to be times where I need them to match, well, cover their effort and my effort, you know? So I think that's that. And again, with the skills thing, you don't have to find anybody, well, find any more skills, you know? You just have to, not have to, you just have to look at what you have and understand that it's completely normal. You don't have to talk to people. You don't. You know, you don't have to reply every moment. But what will be beneficial is finding people who understand you. I think that's what one of the most important things when it comes to friendships. People that understand what your normal is and doesn't want to push you over your normal. If that makes sense, you know.
That totally makes sense because I the reason I said that makes sense is because like I have like you could tell the difference between somebody who understands me and who doesn't simply by how they engage or communicate with you. There are I tell people all the time that I would prefer a text or an email over a call. I don't like calling, and like you could tell who pays attention. You know, like the person who their first mind is to call you when they call you, and you're like, "What's good?" And then you kind of like end the conversation quickly, and they're like, "Yo, what is this?" Like you could tell that they didn't pay attention. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the kind of like mishing and mashing. Like some people are just better with calling than texting. So how do you kind of like navigate? when you have two different communication styles, you know?
I kind of do this all the time when I'm on the phone with my best friends because usually we start off with a FaceTime. No, we start off texting and like we send each other like photos or something like that, something that we just comment on and stuff, or like book ideas. And we then transition to FaceTime. And right now, like we're calling each other, like we're talking to each other, but while we're talking to each other, we're sending each other like sharing profiles with each other of like things we like, things we don't like, ideas of outfits. Like we communicate through every social media platform there is. Because it could be like, hey, I just sent you a DM on Instagram. And then next thing you know, hey, I sent you a DM on Twitter. So I don't know how to navigate it. We just naturally do that because I think that's how our brains are. I don't know. I think we're weird, but it's okay. We're still friends though, so that what counts.
I would say that is what counts. I wouldn't call it weird. I would say it's just you guys have found that balance of like what works for you, communication wise. You know.
Hmm. How do you feel about your way of connecting with people? Really, I should ask, how do you connect with people?
It happens on like it happens on accident. Like, um, it kind of like so school naturally connected me with friends and acquaintances, lots of acquaintances. And then from there I branched out with like work related stuff like working at the library, and then school also got me connected too because one of my teachers was like, you would be interested in this, like my art teacher, very cool lady, by the way. She was like, you'd be interested in this, and I'm like, that sounds cool, and I applied, and that's how I got to be a part of Connected too. So it's kind of places that I have to be in introduce me to places that I don't have to be in but would love to be in, which introduces me to people that I would love to talk to and communicate with.
That's really cool. I think I connect with people. I don't know, but I connect with people automatically. I feel like my energy connects with anyone, because it can. But to like how to upgrade it, not upgrade it, but go further in a social circle or something, like from associates, old school friends, close friends, best friends, sisters, things like that. I think it's really based on my values. You know, I gotta see where your head is at, really. So I'll ask you about like, how do you feel about education, equity, racism, inequity? And even if I don't talk to you directly about it, I'll hear or see how you feel about it through social media, or if we're in a classroom setting, in a debate or something like that. And yeah. And then my other connection was through my graphic design, because when randomly I was just that person that did graphic design. So if people wanted some graphic design or know somebody that needs graphic design, they'll send it to me. Or if they look at my graphic design, I kind of got compliments on them. And they were like, oh, your graphic design was nice, really cool. How do you do that? And then, I educate them on how to do it. Yeah, I think it's through my values and my talent or skill. We would like to thank everyone who has participated and listened to the Five House series.
Do you live in Charleston or the greater area? Well, if you do, I'm going to have to start that one over again. Do you live in Charleston or the greater area? Well, if you do, we'd love for you to host a future episode of I Like My Tea Suite, a podcast about issues and topics surrounding our communities. For more information or to offer suggestions, email tanyaispowerful at gmail.com. You can also respond or add to today's conversation about social health by sending your thoughts via the Something to Share section of tanyaispowerful.com.
Bet on your tiny, tiny castle. Bet on your tiny, tiny dream. Bet on your tiny, tiny businesses. Bet on you. Bet on you. Why you bet on strangers? Strangers pass on through.